न भूमिर्न तोयं न तेजो न वायुः न खं नेन्द्रियं वा न तेषां समूहः अनैकान्तिकत्वात् सुषुप्त्येकसिद्धः तदेको वशिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम् तदेको वशिष्ठः शिवः केवलोऽहम्।
नमः परमऋषिभ्यो नमः परमऋषिभ्यः हरिः ओम्। उपासकानां यदुपासनीयम् उपात्तवासं वटशाखिमूले तद्धाम दाक्षिण्यजुषा स्वमूर्त्यां जागर्तु चित्ते मम बोधरूपम् अद्राक्षम् अक्षीणदयानिधानम् आचार्यम् आद्यं वटमूलभागे मौनेन मन्दस्मितभूषितेन महर्षिलोकस्य तमोनुदन्तं विद्राविताशेषतमोगणेन मुद्राविशेषेण मुहुर्मुनीनां निरस्य मायां दयया विधत्ते देवो महान् तत्त्वमसीति बोधम् अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकमहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नाम् अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। शब्दं करेक्टा इरुक्का? और चातुर्मास्य काल स्वाध्याय यज्ञ is continuing. Now we are having the very rare opportunity of listening to Bhagavad Pada Sankaracharya's life. Teachings, at least, we will very often hear. But life of Acharya, based on the book Atmatirtham, we are continuing. So now, Acharya on his journey towards south reached the village Sri Bali, where there happened a profound guru-disciple, or we can say two spiritual beings encounter. The story of Hastāmalaka. The boy was brought before Acharya. Till then he has not spoken anything even to his parents. He was a very wise sage, a jnani, established in his self. Behaving like a dumb person. Not responding to any stimuli from the world. Or appearing as if not responding to any stimuli. Indifferent to the world. Udasina bhava. Some spiritual beings carry so much data of previous birth experiences. They know the danger of unnecessarily getting involved in the world. So they will not involve in the world even in the name of doing good. Sometimes this doing good also becomes big danger. So they behave like dumb or deaf or mentally not all right people. Sometimes like insane. So that nobody will bother them. Here in Tiruvannamalai, Śāradā Swami behaved like that. So this boy also behaved like that, remained deaf, dumb, till he met Sankaracharya. Perhaps he never met any person of that caliber till now. There is another story also behind Hastāmalaka which we have not put in Atmatirtham. That his parents with the child went to some Tirtha Kshetra, Kashi or somewhere. There the child had some accident, and according to the story the child died. And parents were crying, and a great yogi was sitting nearby. He was very old. He decided to quit that body and left that body and entered this body. So it is the same yogi who had this Kaya Pravesha. So such a story is also there about Hastāmalaka. Anyway, when you find that a young boy is too intelligent to his age, more intelligent than is expected, because too much intelligence the world cannot endure. So, if they find such a boy or person, how is it possible that sometimes the parents are totally uncultured people? The son born to them sometimes become a realized person. Sometimes parents have no music sense. Their daughter or son, they become big musicians. So how is it possible? So sometimes they say some Bhutam has entered, or some yogi has entered. But here it is a very ripe being From his former birth itself he was ready. So, he remained very, very aloof in the world, indifferent to all the activities happening around him. But inwardly, like a lamp kept inside a pot, he was shining. So when the master asked him, "Who are you? What is your real nature?" as Govinda Bhagavatpada asked to Sankaracharya, this boy told, "I am Nijabodharupaha, I am that pure awareness, I am the pure consciousness. I am not any person which you can classify in this world as even as a man or woman. I am not a man, I am not a woman, I am not a deva, not any astral being, yaksha. I do not belong to any varna or ashrama." As Shankaracharya told the same thing, "Na varna, na varnashramachara dharmaha, na mata pitava, na deva, na lokaha." The same thing here this brahmachari is also saying, "Na brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudraha." And no ashrama also. "Na brahmachari, na grihi, na vanastaha, bhikshuhu cha na aham." Then who am I? Nijabodharupaha, pure awareness. Denying all superimpositions. Any idea about oneself is a superimposition, adhyasa. Just as a snake is superimposed on a rope, like that, first you superimpose the body, then some name, Visheshana for the body. I belong to this country, I am a man, I am a woman. You have to understand it very carefully, because in the world you will be somebody. After hearing this, you go out and say, "I am not a man or woman." That is not the thing. And "I am the Atma," that is also you cannot say. When you have to deny this in your manana samaya, when you are doing the manana, when you do the nididhyasana, then you deny everything. "I am not the body, I do not belong to," because any identity you will invite limitation according to it. But it's a knack. In the world you will have an identity, you should behave according to that identity alone. Otherwise, problem will come. It is not possible. You cannot live in the world. Somebody asks, Aadhar card, Nijabodharupa. That is the truth. Why bother? Then why you want to go to airport? Don't go. Why should the Nijabodharupa go in plane? Adrishyam avyavaharyam. Hence the Shastra says this jnanam is avyavaharyam. It is not for vyavahara. That is why Bhagavan said, Bhavadvaitam sada kuryat. Kriyadvaitam na karhichit. Know this in your bhava. You realize it in your bhava. This is for realizing it, not for declaring to others. Not to say, I am not a woman, I am not a man. No, it is not possible. In the relative plane, that is why Advaita had to say three planes. Vyavahara, Pratibhasika, Paramarthika. Vyavaharika is the most worldly plane. It is all there. Pratibhasika is the imaginary plane. And Paramarthika is what this is. In Paramartha, you attain absolute freedom. You shuffle off, you blow out everything that is not you. I am not a man. People will say I am not Brahmana or I am not Kshatriya like that, but they will not say I am not a man. They are trying to say I am not a man or I am not a woman, I am not anything, but that's all based on body. Here the answer is experience of pure consciousness. Nijabodha Rupaha. Where you need not even tell others, you have to feel this in yourself. It is not for declaring to others. To others you can behave very naturally. Inwardly you are absolutely conscious that I am that Shuddha Chaitanya, Aham Atma. Nijabodha Rupaha. When I consider myself as a man, the human limitation comes upon me. I consider the animal kingdom separate. I consider the plant kingdom. All these separation, raga, dvesha, everything comes. People say about all human beings are same. And what about animals? You speak about peace for everybody, but no peace for animals. So these kind of ideas will come, limitation will come. So actually absolute freedom is possible only in the plane of the spirit, in consciousness. Not in the vyavahara, in the transactional plane. In the transactional plane, the limitation will be there. Here this boy said, I am that Shuddha Chaitanya, I am Atma. Nijabodha Rupaha, pure awareness. In my presence, the mind, the senses, the body is becoming active. Nimittam manaschakshuradi pravrittau. When that consciousness is not there, the mind will not work, the senses will not work. But in its presence, kindled by that, enlivened by that, the mind operates. Through the eyes I am able to see. Through the ears I am listening. Nirasta kilopadhir akasha kalpaha. In my meditation, in my inward contemplation, I remove all the boundaries, all the limitations of body, mind, ego, the causal body, which generates sleep, unconsciousness, everything I deny. And then Akasha Kalpaha, the limitless beingness. I am that pure self. When the sun shines, the whole world is illumined. Like that, in the presence of that pure being, the body, mind, everything becomes active. And that Atma is not something which I have to attain. Nityopalabdhi swarupoham Atma. Very powerful statement. Nityopalabdhi swarupoham Atma. I am that Atma which is Nitya Upalabdha, ever attained. Not something which I have to achieve or attain. That is the only thing which is attained. The body is not attained. Mind is not attained. Body when you dream disappears. Mind when you sleep disappears. In death, body will disappear. Mind will change. But the changeless, ever existing, shining, pure consciousness as I am, that is something which is ever available, yet you fail to recognize it. Here the recognition happens, I am that. Yam agnyushnavan nitya bodhaswarupam. Manashakshurādīni abodhātmakāni pravartanta ashritya nishkampamekam sa nityopalabdhi swarupoham atma. I am that Atma which is Nitya Upalabdhi Swarupa, ever attained. The self-effulgent experience, the ever-present awareness am I. Like fire and heat, awareness and self too are one, inseparable. Devoid of any movement, the still, non-dual being, by the grace of which the mind and the senses move in their fields. That Atman, the ever-present awareness, the self-effulgent experience I am. Mukhabhasago darpane drishyamanu mukhatvat prithaktvena naivasti vastu chidabhasako dhishu jivopi tadvat sa nityopalabdhi swarupoham atma. When you see your face in a mirror, the original face is here, the reflection is seen in the mirror. And if you break the mirror, it becomes 10 pieces, you will see 10 faces. But that doesn't affect the real face in any way. Actually, that manifold, so many forms has nothing to do with the real face. Like that, the real self, which is existence, satta, is unaffected by the chidabhasa, the image, the self-image in the mind, the reflection of existence in the mind, the reflection of I am in the mind. So you need not even bother about the chidabhasa actually. Actually, there are two class of sadhakas. One of them, they think you have to change this chidabhasa, the body, the mind. And another group, Bhagavan belongs to the second group, they say just brush it aside, directly go to the chit. Ignore the body, the mind, the ego. But in between you will find that this is impractical, but you try to reform these things. After some time you find it is like the tail of the dog. Again it will go back to the same place. Then at last you know you have wasted your time. You better go back to the truth and abide there, and do not bother much about this reflection, this chidabhasa. Directly go to the chit, the pure awareness. Don't waste your time with the chidabhasa. So this is the secret that the enlightened beings get. But when you are in the world, you need all this imitation stock. This body, mind, this ego, all these things. So unless you brush it and keep it well, dealing with the world is difficult. But if you pay attention to it, meditation on the truth is affected. So the choice is what? These people, they choose, let not act in the world. Enough of this buffoon role. They are just ready to walk out to the truth, holding to the truth, abidance in the truth. That is what this boy did. Yatha darpana bhava abhasahanu mukham vidyade kalpanahinam ekam. When you remove the mirror, only face is there. That is the yoga sthiti. In yoga, when the mind becomes still, the chidabhasa vanishes and only the true chit is there. Tatha dhiviyoge nirabhasako yassa nityopalabdhi swarupoham atma. But another class of people, they say, let the mirror remain, let the reflection remain. You know it is not real. Why do you bother about removing the mirror? Just know the self and be free. Let the mirror be there. Let the reflection be there. So that Nityopalabdhi Swarupoham Atma thus goes on declaring this boy. Manashakshurader viyukta swayam yo manashakshurader manashakshuradihi manashakshurader agamya swarupassa nityopalabdhi swarupoham atma yayeko vibhati svata shuddha chetaha prakashaswarupopi nanevadhishu Sharavodakastho yatha bhanureka nityopalabdhi swarupoham atma yathaneka chakshu prakasho ravirna kramena prakashi karoti prakashyam anekadhiyo yastathaika prabodhassa nityopalabdhi swarupoham atma vivasvat prabhadam yatha rupamakksham Pragrnati nabhadam evam vivasvan yadabhata abhasayatyakshmekassa nityopalabdhi swarupoham atma yatha surya ekopsu anekashalasu sthiraswapyananvag vibhavya swarupa chalasu prabhinnasu dhishvevamekassa nityopalabdhi swarupoham atma Ghanachanna drishtir ghanachannamarkam yatha nishprabham manyate chati mudha tatha baddhavadbhadiyo mudha drishtehe sa nityopalabdhi swarupoham atma samasteshu vastushvanusyutamekam samastani vastuni yamna sprishanti viyadvat sada shuddhamachaswarupaha स नित्योपलब्धि स्वरूपोहम आत्मा उपाधौ यथा भेददा सन्मणीनां तथा भेददा बुद्धि भेदेषु तेपि यथा चंद्रिकाणां जले चंचलत्वं तथा चंचलत्वं तवापीह विष्णु. Very profound verses. When the boy chanted these verses, Sankaracharya just hugged that boy and said, Are, Eshaha Hastāmalaka. This boy has found the truth like hiding a gooseberry in your palm. It is like you close the fist and keep inside a fruit. Like that, this boy has absorbed the knowledge of the self and is abiding in that state. This is indeed a song born of self-experience, like the Upanishad. That is why, out of all the works, Bhagavan took this Hastāmalaka-Stotra. Sankaracharya's work, he took Dakshinamurti Stotram and Atma Bodha. Other than that, Bhagavan took this Hastāmalaka-Stotra. Naranalan, Suraniyakkan, Nanalan, Andanan, Matri. Arasanum, Vanigan, Sudran, Allanal, Brahmachari, Girahiyum, Panaprattan, Kedagal, Sanniyasi, Iravinil, Yarumalle, Nijabodha, Vadivan, Ame. Suriyan Jagat Tojirku Sottidum Nimittam Enna Varulam Sachuadi Attathirkeduavan Arala Upadiyum Vittu Agayam Poliruppan Oriya Nitta Siddha Uruvanam Au Anmanan எரியது வெம்மை போல யவனித்த போதரூபன் ஒருவனாய் கம்பமின்றி ஒளிர்த்தரும் யவனை சார்ந்தேன் அறிவிலா கரணம் இந்திரியாதி தன் தொழின்மேற் செல்லும் அறிவுரு நித்த சித்தன் ஆயுள அவ் ஆன்மானான். So this is the Hastāmalaka-Stotra, which Bhagavan translated. Another great saint of Maharashtra, Ekanath Maharaj, who did the translation of Bhagavatam, Ekadasha Skandam, he was also a great jnani. He did a commentary on Hastāmalaka in Marathi. Ours also, first commentary I think is Hastāmalaka. In Malayalam, first commentary it was done Hastāmalaka Geetam. It's there in English also, Song of Silence. So this Hastāmalaka song is, you have to meditate on it, constantly keep it in word. Because from true knowledge only courage will come, fearlessness will come, confidence will come. From Swarupa Anusandhana, confidence will come. Without that truth, you cannot be confident constantly. You can find a firm anchorage only in the self, not in the body or the mind or this personality, or this personality development. Exercise. It is all very, very limited. You do not know how much distance it will go. One day it will cripple. It will crack down. You have to find your home in truth, where there is no change, and get established there. And that is what we find in Bhagavan, in all the great sages. They found absolute changelessness, deathlessness, peace in that center. Fearlessness. So in that state, the truth of Vedanta becomes very, very clear when such souls come, like Hastāmalaka or Jada-Bharata or Ramana Maharshi. Whatever you can say about other philosophies and Siddhantas, when great souls like Bhagavan come, they have not attained the realization after studying the books. They did not attain realization even by taking advice from any outer source. Suddenly they attain the highest realization, and when after that they check with the Shastras what these Upanishads speak about and what they have attained, it is all same. So this is the pramana, this is the authority. Svanubhuti pramanam, it is called Svanubhuti pramanam. One's own experience is the authority, absolute authority. So in that authority, this Hastāmalaka lived absolutely free. He didn't even check with others what he is going through. When Sankaracharya found that amidst all these ordinary people, they were scholars, they were very cultured people, but in their center there was a jewel, there was a diamond. He took that diamond, he recognized that diamond. When the boy spoke, of course their parents were delighted. So many days he didn't speak, now he spoke very clearly. They were so happy. They fell before Sankaracharya and did a namaskara with tears. Acharya said, now he is talking. If I go from here, he will not talk. Don't be overconfident. Don't be too happy because he spoke now. But if I go back, he will not talk. There were many cases like that. There is a story in a Buddhist literature also about such a boy. So, it will not be possible for you to make him lead an ordinary life of action and interaction in the world. To live in the world, you need a certain amount of foolishness in you. To keep the foolishness alive, all the schools, universities help. Without that, it is not possible. All arrangements are done in this world to keep the level of foolishness, like creatine level, like that. Ignorance also should be kept in a certain level, otherwise worldly life will fall off. All these arrangements are made so that nobody dares to jump out. But when a person has jumped out, as Ramakrishna used to say, with pure gold you cannot make ornament. When a person dares to jump out, he becomes useless to the usual worldly life. Kim prajaya karishyamaha yesham noyam atmayam lokaha, he says. What will I do with all this nonsense? I have this Atma Loka. I don't have anything to do with this. Such a person cannot be utilized for worldly things. So, Bhagavad-pada said, he is fully established in the self and has astonishingly grasped Brahma Vidya. All the disciples who are around Sankaracharya are also seeing the boy. They were all wondering, what is this? We have been studying Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutram, class morning, evening, note making. And still after that very difficult. And suddenly a boy comes, declares the highest teaching. From today onwards, he will be known as Hastāmalaka, one who is holding the highest truth like a gooseberry in one's hand and palm. For he has expounded the truth of the self in such a simple manner, as though it were a berry in his palm. He is not of this world. Therefore, it is agreeable to you, give this boy to me. Mahyamesha diyatam. Give him to me. He will be a jewel among the group of ascetics. If he lives with worldly folk, he will not retain the body for long. Consulting with his devout wife and considering the well-being of the child, Prabhakara accepted Acharya's words with great reverence. They surrendered Hastāmalaka to Acharya. Then along with the Ativarnashrami, he is Ativarnashrami, no Varnashrama Dharma, nothing, does not belong to the world. With that Ativarnashrami, one among their group, Acharya and group left the place. Generally we say 4 disciples of Sankaracharya, Padmapada, Sureshwara, Hastāmalaka and Totaka. But very much we doubt how can Hastāmalaka be a disciple in the usual sense. It is very difficult because such a person cannot be utilized for the world. He can, like Bhagavan, he can remain in that state only. So we have to say Acharya just gave him a place in the group. It was a very large group, so somewhere he needs only bhiksha. Let him be comfortable there, that's all. Nothing else. He cannot be utilized for go and teach in the world or something. He is there as a shining example for the knowledge of the self, that's all. So such a person with that Ativarnashrami, one who does not adjust himself to Varnashrama Dharma, with such a person they started moving. Acharya himself, there is a story that there is a commentary of Acharya himself for Hastāmalaka. It is there in the complete verse of Bhagavad Pada, and many scholars they say it doesn't look like Sankaracharya's commentary also. Anyway, perhaps some other Sankaracharya in the Parampara has written a commentary. So, they worshipped the deity. They went to Subramanya. It is almost the Kerala border, near Mangalore. There is a beautiful river there, Kumaradhara. So they worshipped the deity after bathing in the holy river Kumaradhara and remained immersed in practices such as contemplation and meditation. After remaining absorbed in undisturbed samadhi for some days, the great master moved on. That Subramanya, from there, that Mangalore, that whole area is the Konkana Desha. It's all full forest. Kutajadri, Mukambika, Udupi, all those area, Tirthakshetra, Dharmasthala. So there, they started moving. The group set off towards Sringagiri. Sringagiri, if you go from Mangalore, now it's about 2 hours or 2.5 hours by car. So they have their own way, no? We have lost touch of that kind of travel. Now we have to go to Badri. By car it takes how much time? Badri from Rishikesh. It takes 10 hours. Formerly, they will go from Rishikesh through these chattis, this full chatti and all those areas. It is not this road. By road you go in a roundabout way. But when you walk, it is straight. So they have a lot of chattis there. Chattis in the sense, somewhere you will get roti, somewhere you can cook food, somewhere you can stay and then walk on straight. Even now people are going, but now these arrangements are not there because you have this road. So all these arrangements are not there. So many sadhus have walked Badri, Kedar through the forest area. So now we have lost touch. Even from here to Ramanashramam, auto is needed. So they walked. and reached Sringagiri. Sringagiri is the place where the great sage Rishashringa did his tapasya. Very beautiful place. "15 years before, Acharya had come to that place where he saw a serpent and a frog staying there very friendly manner. Then he felt some strange phenomenon is happening. He inquired with a sage who was nearby. It's a very beautiful scene. Shankara found it very strange. He was meditating, sitting on the bank of river. Then he found this phenomenon. Then he inquired nearby and entered an ashram. Very old sadhu was there at that time. When Shankara entered there, he was a small boy, very radiant boy, 8 years old. That old Swami, very old sage, he came out of that hermitage, caught hold of Shankara by his chin and drew him to a shadow of a tree and looked at him and said, "Oh, at a small age and you are a Paramahamsa?" He said, "At a tender age you have become a Paramahamsa." And that same place has come. Now that ashram is not there. But that time he had a feeling that this is a good place for tapasya. So there they found this Tunga. In Shankara Vijaya it is Tungabhadra. Now only Tunga is there. Tungabhadra, Bhadra river joins in some other place. Samsparshamatrena vitirna bhadra vidyotate yatra cha Tunga Bhadra. The lavish beauty of Tunga and Sringagiri captured the eyes and hearts of everyone. Padmapada and other disciples had already heard from Acharya about the spiritual significance of this place. They felt that the place was ideal for an ascetic and meditative life. Acharya sat with his disciple under the same tree where he had sat earlier on the southern banks of the river. Hearing about Acharya's arrival, the local king came to visit him, offered worship and made all arrangements for their stay. Although it was a forest, they were quite comfortable. Sringagiri has that tendency from that time onwards, always looked after by kings. Royal patronage, it was always there for them. So, helped by the householder devotees, Padmapada made a thatched hut for Acharya. So they have decided to stay some time there. Gradually, huts were built for all of them. Acharya paid no attention to all these affairs. He was immersed in teaching the disciples, guiding genuine seekers, and spending the remaining time in solitude on the banks of the river, absorbed in samadhi. Acharya's total detachment was itself a profound teaching. Life in the solitary forest was peaceful and happy. They spent their time in spiritual joy. A desire to establish a mutt there arose in the minds of Padmapada and others. One day, Padmapada spoke to Acharya, "Lord, since your first visit, this divine abode has found a place in your heart. We have not seen such favorable place very often. We feel that we can establish a mutt and live here. The mind of a Brahmanishta is such a powerful instrument of the self that any desire arising in it will certainly bear fruit. Their inner being is always linked to the omnipotence of the Lord. Hence, it is the grace of the Lord alone that sprouts in them in the form of a sankalpa. So that was transmitted to Padmapada. In this context, Acharya said, Padmapada, the only job of a disciple is to listen to Atma Tattva, knowledge of the self. Contemplate on one's real nature, meditate and abide in that state. But if you have any fascination for anything else, there is any inclination to do some work, chikirsha, there is any inclination to attain something, prepsa, there is any intention to renounce even something, jihasa, there is any inquisitiveness in you, jitnyasa, the mind will not listen. The mind will not abide, because that will disturb the mind. It's a very, very subtle thing. And that is called as a flaw, a dosha, anyabhinivesha, attachment to something else, not the knowledge of the self. And because of that, Vedanta Shravana will become useless. Now, this sankalpa has arisen strongly within you to disturb your samadhi. It is a folly to imagine that we can remain peaceful after constructing a mutt. Every sannyasi does that. Everyone knows that, but ultimately ends up with an institution around. Something will happen. You sit somewhere, something will be constructed around. Like Bhagavan, you see, no sankalpa, yet the ashrama came around. So that is Ishvara Sankalpa. What to do? So Bhagavad Pada says here, no action ends on its own. It's a great law. People think, I will do this and end it. It will not end. It will sow the seed for further action. Vinayin vilayvu vilivutru vittai vinaikadal vilthidum untipara. Veedu taral illai untipara. As Bhagavan says, it will not give you freedom. The result of an action will sow seed for further action. Action breeds action. It will not end. It is a chain. So, no action begets action, and action becomes the seed for another. It is a never-ending chain. Peace must be attained here and now. True renunciation of a Paramahamsa lies in rising above all desires and not in wandering from place to place. Now it appears that you will be rid of your desire only if it is fulfilled. Yoga karma sukhaushalam. Work done without losing one's equanimity is yoga. Do not attempt to build a mutt thinking that we can live there peacefully. Charai veti. Move on, keep going is our destiny. This is the job of a yati. Once we pick up our staff and water pot, only possession of a sannyasi. Take the staff and water pot, walk. Sringagiri will be gone. This place will vanish from our sight. Our peace lies in the unmoving Brahman. The mark of an ascetic is an ever-wandering body, stability in the self. It's a very famous verse. Chala niketasya yatir yadrichiko bhavet nistudihi nirnamaskaraha niswadhakara evacha chala niketasya yatir yadrichiko bhavet. No praise, no criticism of anyone, So even if someone is doing some good thing, not interested in commenting, some bad thing, then also don't say. Na nindeta, na stuvita, kurvata sadhu asadhuva, vadato gunadoshabhyam varjita samadring munihi. This is the state of a muni, paramahamsa. It is not possible for an ordinary person. When a paramahamsa is seeing these things, somebody is doing something bad, okay, that is his life, why should? He just walks away, not bother. He is just like sun. In the sunlight you can do anything. You can worship, do Surya Namaskara, sun will not be happy. Criticize sun, oh it is too hot. No. Very beautiful. Like that Lokecharati Suryavat, the Jivan Mukta, moves about in the world like the Surya. So, the body is the Chala and Atma is Achala. Knowing the Achala Tattva, the body is constantly moving. Outwardly, the Mukta is like a feather of a peacock. Every wind can throw it here, there, everywhere. Inwardly, he is like the Mount Meru. Bahi pichagra taralaha antar meru rivasthitaha. So weightless, every wind can take it here, there, everywhere. But inwardly, like Meru Parvata. So there is a solution. Divine Mother Śāradā is Brahma Vidya Shakti, the power of knowledge, who is our constant companion. See, there is a saying that Ubhay Bharati, Sureshwaracharya's wife, she was an enlightened being who moved with them as Chaitanya Shakti. And she had, either she stayed in Sringagiri itself or she had her samadhi in Sringagiri, something like that. There is a lot of philosophies about this, lot of arguments about this, debates about this. Somehow that Śāradā remained there. This is the story. The story just goes that Śāradā followed Sankaracharya, stayed there. She stood there. So this Brahma Vidya Shakti, the Divine Mother of the Universe, personification of the power of consciousness, may be considered here. In Sringagiri, many Mathadhipatis, they had Upadesha directly from Śāradā Devi. It's a story. Even Abhinava-Vidyatirtha Swami had directly Upadesha of Mahavakya from Śāradā, the Divine Mother in the temple. There is a story about that. So this has happened, and generally she is the guarding deity, she is the center of the mutt also. So whenever they go out, they will go and tell her. Whenever they come back, they will come. All the itinerary programs, they will read before her. That is what I have heard. So, she should be established in a temple. And Sankaracharya said, let us build a temple for her and we will all stay around. That is what was the mutt, actually, Śāradā Mandira. For us, for the sannyasi, why he need a home to stay? He is the homeless one. Aniketa. In Buddhism, they call the monk as homeless. No home. Suramandira tarumula nivasaha shaya bhutalam ajinam vasaha sarva parigraha bhogatyagaha kasya sukham na karoti viragaha. Kasya sukham na karoti viragaha. To whom does this vairagya will not give joy? Vairagya is the greatest joy, happiness, Vairagyanna param sukasya janakam pashyami vashyatmanaha. For a very well disciplined person, for a true samyami, a mystic, a yogi, Vairagya is his guarding power, fortress. So, Suramandira Tarumula Nivasaha, some big banyan tree is there in front of the temple. All temples will have banyan tree. Somewhere you lie down. Śāradā-Bhujaṅga-Prayāta-Ashṭakam. Where will you lie down? Put your hand, your head and lie down there. Ajinam vasaha. What will you wear? Some skin of a deer. That is ajinam. Anything, any cloth will do. Enakenachid ashitaha. Enakenachid achannaha. Sarva parigraha bhogatyagaha. No object. No possession. Such a life is great release, great freedom. Bhagavan, when some court case was happening in ashram and Bhagavan went to walk in the hill, then one attendant, Rangaswami, was there. To him Bhagavan said, see, this will happen wherever possessions are there. This is why Shiva gave everything to all devas. And they wanted him to take something, so he took poison for the good of all and just walked Digambaraha. He walked naked to Smashana, nobody to bother, because it is great botheration to have possessions. So, thus Bhagavad Pada said, the Lord is the only refuge for a sannyasi. Renouncing all other refuge is Paramahamsa Dharma. One can make use of ephemeral objects but must rely only on the eternal. The eternal truth alone is dependable. Padmapada understood the essence of Acharya's instruction. Accordingly, a temple dedicated to Divine Mother Śāradā took shape very soon with the help of all devotees. On an auspicious day, Brahmi Shakti was invoked in a yantra and consecrated there. As per Acharya's Sankalpa, that Raja Yoga Janani, she is Raja Yoga Janani. Bhagavan's Sannidhi is Jnana Yoga Jananam. Here, that Sannidhi is so powerful, you sit there, that Chit Shakti is so wafting around. So, like that, Arunachala is also like that. Kan Parthanan Pudumai Uyirvalikanta Parvatam. It just draws the mind inward. There Acharya sat and praised Mother Śāradā with a beautiful hymn. When the installation was over, Suvakshoja Kumbham Sudhapurna Kumbham Prasadāvalambam Prapunyāvalambam Sadāsyendu Bimbam Sadanoshta Bimbam Bhaje Śāradāmbam Ajasram Madambam Katakshedayardram Kare Jnanamudram Kalabhirvinidram Kalapaihi Subhadram Purastrim Vinidram Purastungabhadram Bhaje Śāradāmbam Ajasram Madambam. My mother, says my mother Śāradā, I worship. Thus a sthava was done. After this, Acharya remained for some days in Sringagiri. Constantly Vedanta Vichara was happening, Upanishad discussion was happening, Gita teaching was happening, Brahma Sutra Vichara was happening. Thus their day time was spent. Early morning and night they spent in Manana, Nididhyasana and Samadhi or Upasana. Thus, all their time, asuptehe amritehe kalam nayed vedanta chintaya. As long as you do not sleep, as long as you are alive, spend your time in Vedanta Vichara. That was what they were doing. Now, we will continue this yatra, journey from Sringagiri further south to Kerala tomorrow. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva,